Adults of Reddit, what would you advise a teen not to do? Take up smoking. Don't do it. You'll up your lungs. If you're 15/16 and she is an adult who tells you how much more mature you are than other people your age, don't sleep with that person. Don't neglect your teeth. This is the only set you'll have for the rest of your life. Thoroughly brush and floss every single day and stay away from sugary acidic sodas. Neglect them now, and you'll be dealing with fillings in your 20s. Crowns in your 30s. Replacing old fillings and more crowns in your 40s, and who knows what up stuff awaits me in my 50s and beyond. Don't procrastinate on learning basic life skills. For example, knowing how to do laundry, cook basic meals, clean, write a check, go grocery shopping, etc. will help you tremendously in the long term. Never post emotional things on social media. The last thing you want is an employer 10 years from now seeing your flame war that went viral. Don't spend your paycheck thinking you're making it big. Trust me, you're not. Save that money until you really need it. You can pay for gas. You can pay for your lunch. Whatever. But don't think just because you're getting $400 a week that you're the hottest thing on the block. You're not. Never start smoking or vaping. It's expensive as in quitting is an absolute raging. In fact, because I live in Maine, I feel like I have to add, don't start using smokeless tobacco like snus, dip, chew, and whatever else it's called either. Do not hang around people who think trying in school or being passionate about something is stupid. In school, they are often rewarded socially for their lack of caring. After school, they are the ones that become the adults that happy. Successful adults either make fun of or pity. Always complaining and blaming others for their problems and never getting what they want from life. Be careful with credit. It can hurt you for years if you aren't responsible with it. Don't stay in a toxic, abusive relationship. If you're breaking up, getting back together, constantly arguing and fighting, or if they're manipulating you and trying to tell you like nobody will ever love you like I do, not letting you talk to your friends, or not letting you wear certain clothes, controlling your every move, and especially physically harming you, leave, please. No matter how much you love them. They don't love you enough if they're treating you like. They won't change no matter how many times they tell you they will. Your relationship won't get better no matter how many breaks you take. Just leave. Never do meth. It up your life forever. Don't freak out if you don't know what you want to do with your life. It's okay to not know what you want to do. It's okay if you don't figure it out until you're in your 20s. You have time. Girls, don't assume that just because you want to have a baby means you are ready to be a parent. Boys, just because a girl says she is on birth control is no excuse not to use condom. And don't say condoms don't fit, most can stretch over an entire leg, both genders. It's better to have safe than unprotected. Have children. Ideally. I'd say you should wait until at least your mid-20s to have kids unless you're absolutely dead set on it. In which case you should first examine and have a deep introspection on why you want children. And why you want them so early in life. Learn to be an adult. Do some things you'd love to do that children would get in the way of, like traveling, partying, if you're into that sort of thing, etc. Learn to be a more responsible person. And gain some stability in life first. Kids are a lot of work. And even though I became a dad by accident at 22 instead of my teens, that was still way too soon for me and I was horribly unready. It made many things needlessly more difficult. Pushed a lot of GOSLS and events back in my life, including having another. Which I'm still not ready for now at 31 even though I would like to. Directly and indirectly caused a lot of strain in my relationship with my wife over the years. And was a main contributor to my lack of financial stability for nearly a decade. Don't drink alcohol in excess. It's easy to be overconfident with booze when you don't know how it can wreck you. As a teen, trying to impress some girls, I finished an entire bottle of Sambuca and woke up 5 hours later laying in the mud. In the rain. Freezing cold and covered in my own vomit. A funny story now, but I reckon that I was probably dangerously close to drinking myself into a serious health risk. Pace yourselves, kids, if you do find yourself drinking. A relationship isn't going to fix you. And it's not going to make you happy. Don't grow up too fast. I'm 23 and in my later teen years all I wanted was to be an adult already, and now I miss those years. Don't let other people decide your life. Not everyone is cut out for college. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep learning or study a trade instead of spending your time on a real degree that is for something you hate doing. You are the one that will have to live with your decisions for the rest of your life. Most of the people you're worried about impressing or pleasing won't be in your life in 10 years. Most won't be there in 5. Don't have a kid. I don't care if you think you're mature enough or ready to be a parent. It is far easier to deal with a kid and all that comes with one when you've made steps towards your own future. Never co-sign anything for anyone. Ever. Source: me. A dumbass. Who at 18 co-signed a $30,000 private student loan for a friend. 1. Don't do drugs. Some of them can absolutely positively derail your entire life. Heroin, meth, but even the soft drugs like weed and booze take up space and time and effort that you really need to be putting to learning and practicing skills you'll need as an adult. I promise. All the drugs in the world will still be there at 21 and 25 and 30. And you will be in so much better position to enjoy them. 2. Don't get involved with anyone older than 25. Don't have with them. But also, be really careful around them when it comes to roommates or business arrangements. Learn to spot multi-level marketing schemes, for example, but just business arrangements in general. 3. Don't have unprotected. Unplanned pregnancies suck. Catching an STI is also no fun. Both are very easily avoided with basic contraception. Think you'll still have most of the friends and opinions you have now 10, 20 years from now. Don't prioritize moments of happiness over your goals. I lost scholarships that covered tuition and every other extra expense aside from room and board at a pretty decent university. But I was still living with my parents. All for a video game. Fortunately, everything worked out extremely well up to this point in my life. I'm only 21. So some may not consider me an adult. But I'm very happy where I'm at now. I believe I made the right decisions for the wrong reasons. Don't get married. Seriously. If it's meant to be. It will be down the road also. And if it's not meant to be. That's okay too. Don't feel like you need to know what you want to do after high school. College is expensive and you really only get one crack at it. Take some community college classes. Work. And find out what you are interested in. If you see some career path you might like, get in touch with someone who works in one. See if you can job shadow them for an afternoon to see what they really do. A fancy college will be insanely expensive and it really only helps with your first job. Employers don't care where you went to school. We want to know what kind of a worker you are. Start building your work history now. Do the best you can. The only reason alcohol is legal is because it's so ubiquitous in cultures around the world that it's impossible to ban. That's it. It's far from a harmless drug even when compared to many illegal ones and does not deserve its good reputation. The earlier you start, the higher your risk of developing an addiction, and if you find yourself drinking to distract yourself from negative emotions, it's a massive red flag. So respect the minimum age laws. And if you don't, at least start slow so you can learn how much you can take. Do not do anything really illegal. If you get arrested, charged with a crime, having a criminal record will basically you in terms of college admission and or applying for any worthwhile job that does criminal background checks. Don't mess school up. Study. The more you study and get good results, the more likelier you are to get a good job and not suffer later on down the line. This isn't a guarantee. You can have a good degree and work minimum wage. It just increases your odds of succeeding. If you're going into the military and they tell you to clean black mold, don't. They have hazmat teams for that. And if there is equipment like a forklift or a crane, don't lift it if it's too heavy. Go find the designated operator of that equipment and have them move it. The military doesn't care about your health and the only one that can look out for it is you. Obviously be respectful about it. But politely refuse and give an explanation as to why. And cite a regulation or memorandum. For example, SGT. I cannot comply with your order. OSHA regulations require a forklift or crane to move this equipment. And you would be putting myself and others at risk for injuries. And if they say you'd better do it, let them know that you are going to talk to someone higher and follow through with that. Go down the wrong path. Doing drugs and being gangsta only hurts yourself in the long run. For girls, get pregnant. For boys, near everything that pops into their head that they think is a great idea.